If you're someone that's trying to get your very first pull-up, or if you're someone who has struggled to increase the amount of pull-ups that you can do, then here are the 6 exercises that you need to be doing regularly and consistently in your training to build the proper strength to get that very first pull-up or to increase the amount of pull-ups that you can do. Grip strength can be a limiting factor for a lot of people who are trying to achieve one pull-up, to get their very first pull-up, or to try to do even more pull-ups. Grip strength gives out on a lot of people. So the very first exercise that I want you to be working on is the dead hang. So we're just holding ourselves underneath the bar for as long as we possibly can. So now I'm demonstrating everything today on a really short ceiling garage, or in a short ceiling garage gym. So my bar is very, very low. So my knees are gonna be bent. So ideally you're using something where you can fully extend your legs underneath your body. Make sure your feet are together and you have good full body tension when in the dead hang. So hands are gonna be a little more than shoulder width, thumbs around the bar to make sure that we hang onto the bar for as long as possible. You see some people, and sometimes I do too, where you have thumbs over the bar. Sometimes that can be a little bit more comfortable. However, if we're looking for it to hold on to the bar, or looking to hold on to the bar for as long as humanly possible, we want to have those thumbs around the bar. So we're in a dead hang. Notice my hip positioning. We don't want to be in anterior tilt, all right? We want to tuck those abs in and pull those hips to neutral or in a slight posterior tilt. We're going to be somewhat active in really engaging the core while we hang. So we do want to be just completely relaxed, but at the same time, again, core is turned on, feet are going to be underneath the body, hips are in a good position, and we're just going to hold for as long as possible. So I want you doing the dead hang. I want you doing 2 to 3 sets, holding for as long as you possibly can, 3 times a week for 2 to 3 weeks. Exercise number 2, we have the scapula pull-up. So we continue to build grip strength with the scapula pull-up. We also start to engage the proper muscles needed to perform pull-ups with proper technique. Also, we start building strength in some of these more smaller and underactive muscles, more specifically the mid and lower traps, which we need to build strength in order to perform pull-ups. So we get into the scapula pull-up. We're gonna be in the dead hang position, so all of our dead hang protocols are gonna be in place. Hands are a little more than shoulder width, thumbs around the bar, good hip positioning, core is turned on. From here, with straight arms, so you must keep straight arms throughout, we're gonna lift up and back with our scapula. I want you to hold for a second or two, engage in those mid and lower traps, then lower back down to that dead hang. So let me show you from the back. So arms stay straight throughout, good hip positioning, lift up and back, hold for 1 to 2 seconds, then lower back down. So I want you doing scapula pull-ups 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. I want you doing scapula pull-ups for 2 to 3 weeks. Exercise number 3, we have the pull-up negative. So we're gonna be focusing on the eccentric portion, so just the lowering or negative portion of the pull-up, so we can produce more muscular force and contraction while in the eccentric portion or lowering portion of anything that we're doing. So it's a fantastic exercise to start really building great strength to perform pull-ups. So we're gonna start at the very top of the pull-up, and then we're gonna lower down as slowly as we possibly can all the way to the bottom in that stretch position, and then jump back up or step back up depending on how high your pull-up bar is, and then back into that lowering phase. So I'm gonna jump up, engaging the lats and back, squeezing tight, lowering down as slowly as I possibly can, all the way to the bottom of that stretch position, jump back up or step back up, and then lower down as slowly as I possibly can into the bottom to that stretched out position. So I want you aiming for 5 to 10 reps. I want you doing 2 to 3 sets, 2 to 3 times a week for 2 to 3 weeks before moving on to exercise number 4. Exercise number 4, we have the seated assisted pull-up. So I'm setting this up using a squat rack and a barbell. Set this up however you'd like. The most important thing though is going to be the height of whatever we're using, whether it be barbell, rings, etc. So the height's super important. So we want to be able to be in a fully seated position with arms fully locked out. So we're right underneath the bar, thumbs around the bar. The very first thing we're gonna do is a scapula pull-up. So you guys are now gonna see the scapula pull-up in action. So before we do any pull-up, we always wanna engage our scapula first. So we pull up and back to engage the scapula, then we pull our chest towards the bar, keeping the elbows tight to the body, lower down with really good control, all the way to the bottom to that fully stretched position. Then we go back to that scapula pull-up. So we engage, pull the chest towards the bar, elbows tight to the body, lower down with good control. So engage. So the more you use your legs, the easier this exercise is going to be. The less you use the legs, the harder it's going to be. So as you progress with this exercise, try and use your legs as little as possible. So you're gonna do 2 to 3 sets of 5 to 10 reps, 2 to 3 times a week for 2 to 3 weeks before moving on to exercise 5. Okay, exercise number 5, we have the horizontal row, the inverted row, or the bodyweight row, whatever you want to call it. So this is a fantastic exercise to continue to build strength to do proper pull-ups. While we're not doing a vertical pull with this exercise, we're doing a horizontal pull. This exercise is fantastic for building back strength, more specifically in the mid traps, which again are often overlooked and often underactive and weak, which we did work them a lot with the scapula pull-up, but this is another way that we continue to work and really build our back and build strength to achieve the pull-up. So we're gonna start off, the bar is gonna be a little bit lower. The higher the bar is, so the more inverted you are, the more vertical you are with this movement, the easier the exercise is going to be. So ideally, we're trying to work to we're fully horizontal underneath the bar or whatever you're using to do these rows. So we start off, full extension, legs are locked out straight, elbows tight to the body, we engage the scapula, pull the chest or sternum towards the bar, lower down with control, engage, keeping the elbows nice and tight to the body. So you're gonna work the horizontal row. You're gonna go 5 to 10 reps, just like we did with our seated assisted pull-ups. So 5 to 10 reps, 2 to 3 sets, 2 to 3 times a week for 2 to 3 weeks until we get into the final exercise, exercise number 6. Exercise number 6, we have the band assisted pull-up. Now, if you guys have access to an assisted pull-up machine at a gym, then definitely use that. It's probably a little bit better of an option. However, if you're someone like me who works out from home, works out in a garage gym, then the band assisted pull-up is the best option. Now, the thicker the band, the easier the pull-up is going to be. The thinner the band, the harder it's going to be. As you progress with the band assisted pull-up, the idea is and the goal is to be slowly decreasing that resistance, getting us closer and closer to that full unassisted pull-up. Now, there are a few different ways to anchor the band for this. I'm gonna use the kind of classic way where I'm wrapping the band around the pull-up bar. I'm gonna wrap the band around my knee because my bar is low, but ideally you're wrapping the band around your feet. All right, so I'm wrapping the knee around, then we get into our full pull-up. So hands are gonna be a little more than shoulder width, thumbs around the bar. We're gonna be in a dead hang, so we're in that fully stretched position. From here, I'm gonna engage the scapula, so hit that scapula pull-up, then keeping the elbows tight to the body, pull that chest towards the bar. We lower back down to that full stretch, engage, pull that chest towards the bar, keeping the elbows tight to the body. So you're gonna hit 5 to 10 assisted pull-ups, 2 to 3 sets, 2 to 3 times a week for 2 to 3 weeks before really trying and getting after that full unassisted pull-up. There you guys have it, 6 exercises to get your very first pull-up or to increase the amount of pull-ups that you're doing. Make sure to follow the progressions. It's gonna be easy to wanna skip ahead and just get to that full pull-up. Follow the proper progressions. It's really important that we follow the proper progressions to really build the proper strength needed to achieving the pull-up. Also, test yourself every week and see where you're at with the full pull-up. Make sure to video yourself so you can really track your progress in that journey to achieving the full pull-up. And lastly, if you find yourself getting to the 2 to 3 weeks that I've prescribed with each progression and you're not really making improvements or seeing the gains you want to see, stay on that progression. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody's created equal as far as how quickly we progress to the pull-up. So stay on progressions longer if needed until you really start seeing those improvements. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Drop a comment and let me know when you get that very first pull-up or when you really start seeing those pull-up gains. Also, if you like the video, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel. If you guys found this video useful, let me know. And until the next video, I'll talk to you guys soon.